How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be starting up my Sharks of Summer series. If you guys are new around here, basically on this channel, once a week during the summer, I take a look at a shark movie. And to kick things off for 2025, we're going to be talking about The Reef. This came out in 2011 and was directed by Andrew Traucki. The movie stars Damian Walshe Howling, Zoe Naylor, Adrienne Pickering, and Grantley. And this kind of reminds me of last year's Sharks of Summer. For Sharks of Summer 2024, I believe I started off with the movie The Requiem. I wanted to do a good movie to kick off the series, and with The Requiem I thought, some budget, some named actors, this will probably be good. It wasn't. And this year I saw The Reef, and I thought, hey, The Reef, it's got a little bit of a budget, I know it had a sequel, this will probably be a pretty decent shark movie that I just haven't covered yet. But sadly it isn't. This is a movie that fights you when you want to be engaged with it. Nothing really interesting happens. It's about halfway through the movie before the shark really becomes a problem, and most of the movie is just a clone of open water. It just really isn't entertaining, and I wish the movie was better. I mean, as far as the budget goes, the cinematography is pretty nice looking, but that's about all this movie's got going for it. Sadly, this one was pretty slow and I just couldn't get into it. But before we get ahead of ourselves, what's the movie about? Well, we open up with this boat and a bunch of people about to go on vacation. Or, well, it's an Australian movie, I guess they're going on holiday. And from what I gather, the breakdown of the characters is you get your main guy and he's working on the boat with your guy who's basically Crazy Ralph but for sharks. And then the main guy's friend is the one coming over on vacation. He's bringing with him his fiancée and his sister. And sometime in the past, the main guy had a relationship with his best friend's sister, and now she's kind of wanting to start the relationship again. Well, they go out onto the ocean, and after a little bit of vacation, they flip their boat over. And let me tell you, that sequence is not good. I think what happened is they built a right side up set and they built an upside down set, but they did not have the budget to actually do a crash, and we basically get a shaky cam transition from the right side up sets to the upside down sets, and it's just jarring and awkward, and their boat is turned over instantly. And not jarring and awkward in a good way a boat crash should be. Well, they eventually climb on top of their boat, and from there the characters kind of make this ultimatum. We can either stay on the boat and it's definitely going to sink and then we all die, or we can try to swim 10 miles to Turtle Island, but Crazy Ralph but for sharks says we'll definitely get eaten by a shark during that time. And I hate how they don't really break down and analyze, they just start fighting between the two ideas, and really in this situation, you want to see all the assets available to you. They look around in the bottom of the boat a little bit, the upside down boat set is kind of cool, but they don't get everything out of there. They talk about how they don't have enough food and water, but I'm like, see what's in the bottom of the boat first, guys. But really, you'd want to gather your supplies and then wait a little bit and see if you get rescued before deciding to go out. And also maybe wait a little bit to see if the boat's actually going to sink like you think it is. But no, we're just gonna fight, and eventually most of the characters are going to swim away through the shark-infested waters, and that's who we follow. And anyone left on a boat, just forget about them. They're not in the movie, okay? Well, after that, then it's open water. We go in the water, we try to swim to Turtle Island. Oh no, I think we're lost at sea. And wait, look off in the distance. Is that a shark? And yes, watching this on a home TV instead of a movie screen, you really do wonder, is my screen too small or is there nothing there? Because it's just constantly pointing at the coastline and going, wait, is something there? And one thing I really hate with this movie is there's not enough survival elements. Like at one point they think to cut a flotation device in half so that two characters can have that, and they do eventually find like some transponder thing in their boat, and then they just go, probably won't work and forget about it. Okay, I guess that's what we're doing there. But like the main survival element is goggles, man. That's as clever as they can get. One character has a pair of goggles, and so many times, like constantly throughout the movie, he makes a big show of putting his goggles on and looking around under the ocean for sharks. And honestly, I don't think it really helps them that much at all, but so much of the movie is just look how cool Goggles Man is. He's a man with a pair of goggles. In fact, forget the Reef, this movie should be titled Goggles Man vs. Shark. But whatever. A few more gripes I don't like about this movie. One, while the cinematography looks good, the shot choice and editing are quite poor. The shots will not linger or hold, and they keep switching to a bunch of different shots from a bunch of different angles. The director has apparently not heard the phrase, don't jump the line, and we'll get so many different shots just put on shuffle, and it gets to be a little disorienting. Again, even if it was supposed to be intentional, like some scenes where you're like underneath the boat, it doesn't feel intentional, you know? And also, you know that under the water shot from Jaws in the opening? Get used to that, but like a whole lot. Also, another thing that annoys me with this movie, the characters have nothing going on. Like for real, Crazy Ralph is afraid of sharks, the main guy loves his ex-girlfriend, maybe they'll get back together, and then the other couple is just in love. And that's it. Like, maybe I missed something in the thick Australian accents, but I don't think there's really any more drama or character development to be had, and I wish they wrote these characters in some engaging way where they either served a function to the story or served a function to the intergroup relationship that would like shake things up from time to time. But no, they're just who they are, and then they're bobbing in the sea, and that's all there is to these characters. And plus it doesn't help that the two main couples look way too similar. The guys are both brunettes with short hair, and the girls are both blonde with long hair. And when they're in the water and their hair's all matted and they're all in identical scuba suits, it's hard to tell quickly which character we're looking at. In some character, something might happen to them, and I'm like, okay, who was that again? Yeah, your characters don't pop in this movie, and when you have a movie where most of what they're doing is floating in the ocean, maybe good character work could have saved you? Whatever. And then again, that is, so much of this movie is inconsequential. A lot of it is just them floating in the ocean, but even scenes before that, like we get a scene where they say, hey, let's go to the shop really quick, and in the shop they see a bunch of shark jaws mounted on the wall, and they're like, oh yeah, we killed all these sharks, and then they get out of the shop. Nothing happened, and in fact the only thing that did happen was the movie took the time to show you how easily sharks could be killed, so that scene was counterintuitive. And then there's a scene where they hang out on an island for a little bit. The only thing that happens is the couple that was in love previously kind of makes a step towards, oh, maybe we will get back together, but then we get off that island really quick, and then there's like a little quick sequence where the raft that goes to the island and back from the boat like gets scratched on a reef, and they're like, oh, maybe we'll sink, but then they don't, and that's over. There's so much wasted time. Nothing happens with characters I don't care about, and then it's just a clone of Open Water. I wish there was something going on with this movie. I mean, it's not the worst thing I've seen out of Sharks of Summer, and again, the cinematography is decent. You can tell there was a budget here, but boy, we opened on a boring one this time around. I'm hoping next week's will be a little bit more exciting, but yeah, the Reef, not much of anything here, sad to say. It's like Open Water, but without the novelty of that being the first one. Whatever though, can't really recommend this one. Oh well. Anyway though, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Sharks playlist. If you guys want to see me talk about more shark movies, you can find that there. Anyway, have a good day. See you guys again very, very soon. Playlist here. Have a good day now.